I didn't know it was my calling until Schindler's List came into my life. I even shot outside of the gates of Auschwitz. It is a place that will stay with you. Literally, all you have to do is visit it once and it will stay on you for the rest of your life. It's unimaginable, so therefore I don't try to imagine it. I have quite a vivid imagination, but I won't take my imagination to Auschwitz. It was one of the most efficient killing machines that anyone has ever experienced throughout history. No fray. Work makes free. I smelled the hopelessness. When I went into the barracks and I imagined, and I watched the scribbling and I saw the carving and I saw some of the artwork, I felt the hopelessness, and then I'd suddenly see a flower that someone painted on a wall. And I realized that through all these years of hopelessness, there was in fact hope. There was evidence of maybe there is going to be a future for me and my family, maybe. And in most cases, that wasn't to happen. The first time I visited, we were absolutely appalled at one thing. The tour guide who took us through Auschwitz was organized, never mentioned the word Jew, and never mentioned the numbers, just said many innocent people were killed here, and did not mention that the Jews had been murdered at Auschwitz. That kind of upstaged, I was angry about that for a long time. But when I walked down the rail line to the end of where the tracks end, and I went over to where the crematoria were, I just felt the ghosts. I just felt the ghosts. I didn't feel that I was destined to tell the story until I visited Poland for the first time and went to Auschwitz-Birkenau and spent time on the actual locations. It suddenly occurred to me that this was something more than a movie, that the movie was going to be a foot in the door. But the door that I needed to open was these testimonies.
People were taken away to the gas chamber.
And disseminate them all over the world. Founding the Survivors of the Shoah Visual History Foundation in 1994. This was my second bar mitzvah.
A German guy.
I've been adopted by thousands of survivors. I feel like their grandson. My wife and I wanted to go back to Auschwitz and pay our respects. A rabbi took us and we said a prayer. He asked me to come over where the remains of the crematoria laid and put your hand in that water, in this sort of like mud hole. And I did. It was very soggy. It had been raining. And I put my hand in there and I brought my hand out, and there was white sort of bone meal all over my hands, because the remains of everyone over those years of mass murder rained back down onto the earth. Excuse me, and they're still there. And the remains of everyone murdered at Auschwitz, they're still there in the ground. And that's something I'll take to my grave.